going to be to select his own carpeting, and this was his design. Now, did he ever tell you why he designed this?
The fleur-de-lis is the symbol of the justice system. Also, the purple is a royal color. That's why it was chosen, I'm told.
That's what he told us. I just wondered if he told you that. That was cool.
That's lovely. Judge, you want to tell us about the room?
Well, this is the courtroom as it was restored in probably 2001?
2005. Finished up in 2005. Okay. 2001 was part of it, yeah.
Right. The bench is all original. That's all white oak, quarter sawn white oak. And much of the bench and the back of the bench, that's all original. Sure, go on in.
And wasn't that made by people at the state penitentiary?
I believe it was, yes. Yeah.
Well, they had other skills, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Well, and that's what they did, is if they had a prisoner that was, capable of doing that kind of work, let's get something out of it.
And why the seashells? Does anybody know what their seashells are?
I don't know.
No.
The bench has been, just since I've been in practice, the bench has been on 3 different walls in this courtroom, but it is the same original bench. So
it originally started, this was, one of the stories in this room is this was much bigger at one time. That jury room wasn't part of this. This room wasn't part. This was one big domed room.
Oh.
The chandelier hung in that dome, and that was a chandelier that was moved out to the hallway. Well, when we decided to bring back the courtroom, we wanted to bring it back as close to its original state as we could.
Yeah.
So instead, we couldn't get the dome back because we didn't have room, so we did this step-up type thing. And we're able to put the chandelier in here, and I love it at night when you drive by here and see it through the windows. It's really, really neat. But one of the things too is, for years, the jury sat here, and the jury wanted to take a break, and they had to walk through the administrative offices over to the jury's room, which is now where the judge's office is. So now we have a jury room where the jury can actually go without having to track through the administrative portions of the court.
And that's just as of 2005?
Yeah. It's
What,
really, really.
what made the difference that all this wanted to be, you wanted to do this in 2005? Was it because you started, like a lot of us do, we start one project and you kind of find all the other things?
Well, we had to. We were running out of space in the courthouse for offices. We wanted to get the walls. Remember I said about insulating the walls from the inside? Well, once you had to rip those walls out, and let's do it. Let's make it complete.
Do it right.
And what we said is, we have the money now. While we had, and thank God we did, because we don't have the money.
Because there was no debt incurred. In all the courthouse renovation, there was no debt incurred, which is huge. I mean, that just doesn't happen anymore. So I think it's a credit to the commissioners that were in office at that time to realize now's the time to do it. And like you say, once you get started on something, it's maybe hard to stop, but it was done at one time. Caused some disturbance, I'm sure, at the time, as far as while the construction was going on. It's over with, it's done with, and it's truly is a terribly impressive building. I mean, it's really a neat place.
Well, Fold Construction did the inside work, and I have never seen anybody that worked as well with us as they did. I mean, every day they cleaned up everything. I mean, they worked around the offices, so people didn't have to shut their offices. We didn't have to shut down any offices during construction. And that's a tribute to them. I mean, they actually had people coming in when we left at 5 o'clock to do the work overnight. They worked people overnight. And it just was a great job. But one of the other things, we're lucky, and I wish Randy was here, because if you look at this, and if you just look at the trim here, the border here, we have a maintenance man that when we redid this building, he redid everything to match that. So, I mean, we're very fortunate. We're extremely fortunate. And I think the judge would tell you, we've got some of this looks like it's the old 18 or 1900 courtroom, but you look at the walls and the white, tell them about the white sound and the different things that we
It's
have.
a very technologically current courtroom. We have video links. You see we have the big television screens in the back that links us to the jail. We can do arraignments by video. We don't need to bring prisoners over here for every small hearing. It has state-of-the-art sound system, recording system, as well as security system. It's a very up-to-date courtroom.
Can you explain, if I'm on a jury, if I'm in a jury box, and an attorney, the two attorneys want to talk to you, you can push a button that does what?
It emits a white sound noise that is supposed to mask the conversations that go on at the bench, and I'm told that it works.
I've been sitting in here and
Or when you do that, you can't
you just
hear
go,
them.
how can you, they're
Yeah.
talking, they're right there in front of you and you can't hear them. It's
Instead
really
of just
weird.
putting your hand over the microphone.
Well, it's even better than that. I mean, any sound, even the whispers, any sound in the place not going over the speaker system is covered up by this white noise system. So,
Judge, how does it feel when you're sitting up there? The courtroom is full and you're sitting in this building. What does that feel like to you?
It is a continuation of history that I just marvel at. I'm the 12th judge to serve in this court since the first permanent judge came to sit here in 1881. So I'm the 12th one, and I obviously I talk with Judge Moon on occasion, but also some other previous judges too. And it's interesting to have that perspective, that historical perspective. I spoke with Judge Rogowski just a few months ago and talked about some of the history of the court.
Was there any journals? Did the judges, previous judges leave journals? I mean, is there any record that you look back and you can say, well, oh, that's what, that's what I see today, or that's what it's still going on?
Sure, I can look back at all the records of the court, and it's all there, and it's still, it is much the same, much the same.
Do you feel as though you're bringing in history with you when you come in and sit here, or are you totally focused on the case? I mean, that would be.
Oh no, I think there's a historical as well as prospective view of everything that goes on here. What's been done in the past, what will be done in the future, it all goes on at the same time here.
Now, you mentioned about bringing the prisoners over. The jail is connected
It
to
is.
the courthouse, correct?
Yes, it is.
And is that done in, Commissioner, is that done in most courthouses as well? Do you always have a jail?
It may not. There's some that do, some that don't. I mean, it's just the way it's worked here. That at one time the jail was a separate building, basically sitting out in the parking lot, and wasn't actually connected to the courthouse. When the annex was built, the jail was built. I forget when the jail.
1980 it was started.
It was.
Until 1980, there was
right.
not a jail here?
Well,
Or
yeah,
not
it was
connected?
out in the parking lot.
I see.
It was a separate standing
Okay.
building.
Separate standing building. But as far as whether all of them are connected to the court, I'd say there's some that are and some that aren't.
I would imagine it would save a lot of time, money, everything.
Well, it sure does.
For
yeah.
people to be.
Very
able to-
convenient.
And
Yeah.
it's even more convenient to do it by video link because it doesn't take a deputy to bring them over and wait and then go back and bring the next one over. They can be lined up down at the jail, and we can go through hearings that might take a morning. By bringing each individual prisoner over, we can do in 15 minutes.
And the other thing is there's security issues involved as far as along those lines. So the video arraignment is huge. I think it's and something that's going to see more and more of. I think you're probably seeing more and more of it in the courts, right?
Yes, and we're hoping to be able to have the equipment to link to the prisons, so we don't have to bring prisoners back for
Smart.
hearings.
Yeah.
If they could do that by video too. It's an expense, but it's one that,
But in the long run, I
In the
imagine
long
it's a
run,
lot less
it's-
expensive.
yes.
As we were talking earlier about the security, one of the issues at one time was when people were brought over from the jail, they came in the first floor, they got on the elevator and rode up to the court, and in their changer and their foot,
Sure.
But there were also they were there with the people that were here to do administrative things, pay their taxes, to get a building permit, and it scared some of those people.
Mhm.
So now with this security system, we can go right from the jail down the third floor hallway right into the courtroom, and it doesn't affect the rest of the building. And again, that's unique and very good for the county.
Let's talk about security a little bit, because I know you said we're gonna see where the 911 calls come
Right.
in and
Dispatch, yes.
dispatch and so on. As a judge, and the way that the world seems to be going, or we see on television a lot, or hear in the news, as a judge, do you feel comfortable in your role? I mean, do you have to, again, is that something you have to leave at the door when you come in so you can handle the case and just trust in what the system
Well,
is here?
I'm not so concerned for myself. I'm a pretty accessible guy. I can be found any place. But I am concerned for the security in the courtroom. The security of, statistically, it's the defendants who are most often hurt by bystanders. I'm concerned for them. I'm concerned for disruption amongst the people in the gallery. That's where the real security issues seem to be. Boy, I would hate to see some child who's sitting here for whatever reason in the courtroom, maybe they're a Girl Scout or something, get hurt because some fight breaks out in the courtroom. So it is always a concern about security. I can't, my personal concerns aside, we do have a deputy on duty on the 3rd floor who under most circumstances is here to check people coming in and out of the courtroom, certainly when we have a busy court day, checking to make sure that there are no weapons or anything of that nature in here. And that deputy is also occasionally in the courtroom, certainly if we have a defendant of any risk. If someone's brought over from the jail, there's a deputy with them as well. So we're doing our best to cover the security issues, but you know, we can always do more, but it always costs more money.